Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is Angela, and this is my Murkwater construction site tour. I originally did this for the Murkwater Summer Settlement challenge, and I wanted to go ahead and upload it over here just to make sure that I had a copy of it on my own channel, and also for those of you who didn't feel like watching the entire hour-long tour. Let's go ahead and get started. This is a settlement that I kind of had the idea for based around this ghoul. So this ghoul is the only guy who lives here, and he actually has this little water shop. So he sells purified water, he sells bottles that you can fill up with that pump right there, and that's essentially how he makes his living, because he, is surrounded by water. Seems like it would be a decent little idea of a shop for him to have. And also, he's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so he also does have rooms for rent in this giant manor up here, because this is, it's very far down in the map, and so, I figure people would probably need a place to stay if they're down here far enough. So if you do decide that you want to stay here at his manor, you can, and you have Brahmin, or if you're part of a caravan perhaps, there's a little storage area in here for Brahmin, and also a place to work on your weapons. Pretty straightforward. It's not really anything spectacular, but it is a place for, Brahmin to kind of hang out and, be out of the way. But the main attraction of this is really the house. Now, this house I spent forever working on. I started off with this little shack here because part of the requirements were we had to build up the remaining or the existing wood structure here. So this is what I turned it into. This is kind of the back entrance here, where he kind of has access to all of the purified water filters or machines. And but aside from that, I wanted to build a house that felt like it had been here forever. And so I had a lot of fun and a lot of stress and a lot of irritation building this house. All of these places are from the workshop items base game or workshop items mods. There's a couple of them on the Bethesda site, and so all of these pieces are from that, and none of them snap. So all of this was done with Place Anywhere. I'm not sure that I would have even been able to do it without Place Anywhere. So the house really came together because of that. So in here, I wanted to keep it as sort of similar to the way it might have been pre-war as possible. He's been living here for 200 years and he's been trying to keep it up. So, it's got most of the same furniture, probably looted some furniture from other places, but, he tried to make it nice and cozy for people to come in and feel welcome whenever they are staying at the manor. So you can go in the kitchen and make yourself some food, or you can, hang out downstairs and eat. But upstairs here, there are a few different rooms. So this one is a bathroom. And I tried to, with that sink over there, I tried to kind of make the sink feel like it was actually a piece of the room instead of just being a sink, So I've been trying really hard to do that sort of thing and think outside the box with some of my furniture building. A lot of that is inspired by Phoenix or Phoenix Embrace. Any of you who have seen her videos, Denise is a fantastic builder and she does all kinds of crazy stuff with furniture. So I took a little bit of inspiration from her and tried to think outside the box for a couple of these pieces. In here is sort of a sunroom, kind of greenhouse room, since a lot of the ground outside is not suitable for farming. And then, of course, you have a little bit of a little balcony overlook thing over here where you can see the front entrance. And this house, is built so strange, but I think it turned out really, really well. I kind of feel like Bethesda should have put more houses like this, like actually normal-sized houses in the game. It seems like all their houses are very small. But I guess that would probably take up a lot of room, huh? So that room that we were just in is a bedroom. The guy used to have a kid and he used to have a wife, so that was the kid's bedroom. This is a guest bedroom that is also sort of like has a little office area, a little seating area. Most of the time anyone who stays will stay in here or over in that other bedroom, but that one's probably the first one that he rents out. Then over here is the master bedroom, and I had a lot of fun trying to create this so that it felt very grandiose, or at least it kind of gave the impression that it was grandiose at one time. So, you've got a big double bed there and a little area for reading, a little closet, and some books. Pretty straightforward over in here. And then, of course, this leads out onto an upper deck. So I think at one point probably the railings and things were in better condition, but over time they've been patched, and the floor obviously there has been patched. So with this, I wanted to make it feel like it's been here for a very long time, and that also included, patching up the floor in certain places and, putting in some of those vines growing on the walls, and I think that really just adds to the overall feel of the place. I think it would do very well in Far Harbor. So in here is a sitting room, and that fireplace is another example of me trying to think outside the box with my furniture. I think I really like the way that turned out. It turned out really, really cool. But then there's also a little spot over there to play chess, a little spot for, a desk, so anything that someone's going to be working on. And then out here, of course, is a little screened-in patio where maybe some grilling is going on. It definitely needs a rake or something. There's some leaves all piled in the corners. Out here is where you can do your laundry, so he managed to keep the washer and dryer working. And then, of course, there's a little folding table there and some empty bookshelves and things that collect random junk. I didn't get a chance to decorate those as I would have liked because I did run out of time, but I think it still works. It's kind of just a catch-all little storage area out there. Out here is the docks, and the way that I was kind of envisioning the boathouse over here is the water line over time has sort of sunk, so it's kind of high up in terms of the positioning, but the water line used to be a lot higher. Now out here, the story kind of starts to come into play here with the manor. The guy is out here by himself. He is a bit lonely, and he hasn't used this boathouse in a long time because obviously the water line is very, very low, so he has no need for it anymore. And over time, some creatures have made themselves at home in his settlement. So down there, you can kind of see he's sort of stuck under the dock, but this guy has a mirelurk that has started living in his boathouse. Now, at first, he probably was like, I need to get rid of this mirelurk. This is kind of freaking me out. But he, how to say this nicely, the guy has sort of started to go a little bit off the rails, living out here by himself for so long. So he kind of actually finds companionship with the mirelurk. So he finds the mirelurk as to be less of a pest and more of a pet, and more of a friend. And the idea behind that, I drew a little bit from one of my favorite musicals, Little Shop of Horrors. So if any of you have seen that, that will kind of play into the rest of the settlement. You can kind of see where it's going. Out here, I wanted to make a little bit of a place for his wife and kid that he's buried years ago, probably. And I put up some trees. One of them is a smaller tree, one of them is a bigger tree, sort of a mom and kid, son thing. I think it was a son that he had. So I wanted to, add that in as a little bit of extra detail to kind of go along with the lore that I have going through this place. So out here, we're going to go around and not go back through. Well, maybe we go back through the boathouse. I don't really remember when I filmed this. But here's another look, a side look at the house. You can see all those vines that I had to put on there. I think that really adds to the look of it. I've got a little trap over there by the gate that I accidentally run into quite a bit. And yeah, we're gonna go upstairs and we're gonna go see the top part of the manor. So the first level and the second level are open to anyone who decides they want to stay, but the upper level is for the most part off limits because there's not really anything up there, just a bunch of junk, and there is roof access up here. So for the most part, people don't come up here, they generally stay downstairs. So lots and lots of old junk, lots of pictures and broken things, and roof access here where we can get a good view of the settlement down below. And of course a turret, because, you know, you gotta keep the place protected. This guy is getting a little bit paranoid if he's starting to talk to Mirelurks, so, you know, he's paranoid and he's kind of losing it. But you can see that I have a couple big water pumps there, so he puts out quite a bit of water to draw people in and help people out as they kind of walk through the wasteland. So here, there isn't really much upstairs except for this secret hidden bookcase for some reason. I should probably mention this guy used to be a doctor pre-war, which is why his house is so grandiose. And oh, what is this? He's got a secret lab up in his attic. Well, that's just strange, wouldn't you think? The way that I thought that this would play into the lore is this guy obviously is befriending a Mirelurk. I think that he probably does some experiments on Mirelurks and tries to kind of figure out how they work, some of their wiring. So I didn't have a Mirelurk body to put up on that table, but I kind of wanted it to feel like he does experiments on them and tries to kind of figure out how he can communicate better with his pet, with his friend Mirelurk down there. So similar to the Oceanological Society in, I think I'm not exactly sure which island it is. It's over by Croup Manor, if you go over there and read some of the terminal entries. But up here there's just a little post where he can kind of keep an eye out for anyone coming from the south. And yeah, that's pretty much it up here. I had a lot of fun building this. This door gave me a lot of trouble though. But I did have a lot of fun kind of thinking about how he would have his lab set up. So yeah, lots of secret passageways. You guys know I like to have some secrets in my settlements, so it doesn't stop there. The guy has a Mirelurk as a pet, and you know, it's hard to find things to feed to Mirelurks. So he may or may not, how should I put this? He may or may not trap people in his house and feed them to his Mirelurk. Maybe? You'll see what I mean in a second. So that door there is also connected to this switch. So we'll flip that switch, and we're gonna go in here and say, you know, you want to, oh, what's this? There's a trapdoor in the guest room. So when he rents this room out, he generally expects that someone will end up down here, landed down on that mattress, stuck in this cell, and it looks like he also has a couple people that he has already maybe done this to. So he lures people in, you know, with purified water and safety, and he feeds them to his Mirelurk. It really depends on the person though, I think, because if there's like a caravan or something, obviously the caravan is going to be connected to something, so, you know, they would maybe get the other room, or they would stay, you know, on like a couch or something. So he wouldn't maybe kill them necessarily, but if it's just a lone traveler, you know, anything is game so unfortunately. So that's the secret of Murkwater Manor. Makes it sound very, very mysterious. Yeah, so that's really the main thing that I wanted to kind of do with this house, was give it a sort of a dark secret. So he's transformed this, what may have been like a safe room or something, into a very dark thing. So this ghoul looks very friendly when you first meet him in his little water shop, but you better watch out. That's all I have to say about that. So I know that this tour is probably not super in-depth. I did want to kind of walk through it with you guys, because I did go through and do a little bit more explaining on the actual part 1 of the Murkwater Challenge with Scarecrow Gaming. I will link that in the description below if you have not seen it yet. Obviously, you now know the secret, so hush hush. But yeah, thank you guys so much for checking this out. If you have already seen the other one, I appreciate it. If you liked it, make sure that you hit the like button. And if you want to see more of what I'm working on in the future, feel free to subscribe. I'm also on Twitter for those of you who have that and want to follow me there. Thanks so much for watching once again, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.